Luno, the fastest, easiest way to buy Bitcoin. If you're just getting into crypto, it's the perfect place to start. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Layah Heilpern show. We have done so many episodes now. I think we've done this could be the 65th episode. So that's 65 weeks, over a year. I'm pretty pleased with how it's going. So it's actually powered by Icon Plus Capital, the VC firm. So check them out on socials. And it is sponsored by BlockFi. So I actually use BlockFi to earn, I think right now they have one of the most competitive interest rates. It's around 9% on some of your stable coins. So I'm going to leave a link in the description for you. Leave it in the comment section. So if you do want to sign up, I think right now you can also get around $250 when you sign up. Get amazing competitive interest rates. I use them. Super happy with the experience. So I'd really recommend them. Okay, so today I have a friend joining me on the show, so I'm super excited. It is, let's see if you can guess. Okay, so she's an influencer. She is a speaker, educator, and a content creator. It is Miss Teen Crypto. What's up?
Hey, thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So for those that don't know, we actually met. We had the pleasure of finally meeting in Miami a few weeks ago. So why don't you tell us why you were down in Miami?
I was actually down in Miami for Miami Crypto Experience. That was really fun. Met a ton of really cool people. I'm happy we got to go out. We ate some really nice pasta. It was really cool. Felt
Yeah.
Vibe.
It was good. I actually took, we went to one of my favorite places in Miami. And Miami's just becoming such a great crypto hub. It's unbelievable. So yeah, it was really good to meet you. And it's amazing that at such a young age, you're not even 20 yet. You're still a teenager, Miss Teen Crypto. You're having all these different speaking opportunities, which is so exciting. So I want to go back a little bit and understand how you actually, decided to get into crypto.
Yeah, so my dad has actually been in the space for the past 5 years into crypto, and he used to talk about it all the time. I didn't listen because all I heard were numbers, finance, just things I didn't understand. I didn't think I could essentially do anything with it. I couldn't do anything with stocks. That's how I related it. But when I was around 16, he showed me a transaction, and all you had to do was scan a QR code, copy and paste an address, and that's literally it. You transact, you're done. So I just saw that, that was going to change the way we transact. I saw none of my friends, none of my family knew what Bitcoin was, never mind how easy it is to use. So then I just, joined Twitter a year and a half later. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's crazy. You're so lucky to have a dad that's been able to teach you all these things, especially at such a young age. It's so amazing. But that's interesting because you mentioned stocks. So I'm assuming stocks is just overwhelming, right? You couldn't even go near that.
Well, at 13, no. I just didn't pay attention. I just didn't think I could do anything with it. NFTs, Bitcoin, and all this cryptocurrency, that's stuff you could do things with at any age. So that was what also pulled me in as well. Anyone with an internet connection can download a wallet and start spending and transacting.
I know that you did a tweet the other day and you were like, Bitcoin, if you love freedom, you love Bitcoin. So I'm really interested to know what, other than use case and it all being very fun and zesty, as you put it, but what actually about crypto really drives you? Because I know that you're spending a lot of your time, especially, on the weekends, going down to Times Square and making all these different videos. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of passion and interest to actually go out and create content on something. So for you, what is the driving force?
It's essentially being in control of your value and control of your funds. One thing I learned from a friend of mine, Clint Westwood, is that your money essentially is an accumulation of your time, your energy, and the amount, you can't spend like you used to. A burger used to be 20 cents at McDonald's, and now you're lucky if it's on the dollar menu. So you don't have the purchasing
You used to get
power.
a dollar. Wait, you used to get you used to get a burger for 20 cents at McDonald's.
Something like that. I was looking at a menu, an old picture, and it was something around that. I don't quote me on it. That's because wild. There's definitely something around that. I know you used to get 2 slices and a Coke for 50 cents in New York, and now it's $1 or more. Wow. It's crazy. It's literally nuts. So the fact that we could, control our value, control our assets with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and actually have that like peer to peer, it reminds me of like, being in the cafeteria when I was little, trading like those Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards just with your friends. So it reminded me of that.
And in school, did you ever have any kind of formal financial education at all?
No, not at all. And that surprised me a lot because, getting into like the real world kind of, I had a job for a little while and I just didn't like even know what a check was. I didn't know like how do you cash that? How do you start a bank account? All that stuff. I don't know. I don't know how to pay taxes. It was nothing that was taught in school. And
Yeah,
the
of
most
course.
that I ever saw was an investment class that I could have taken as a senior in high school, where you just followed one stock for each quarter of the year. So there's 4 quarters. You would follow 4 stocks. And that's it. And it's whoever made the most money would do good in the class. And I just didn't see that as something that would help me. So I just didn't take it.
That's so crazy. I mean, I think how old were you when you were offered that?
It was literally last year. So 17, 18.
That's pretty interesting though, because we weren't even offered something like that. Maybe we were. We could choose to take an economic class at that age.
Yeah.
But actually it's more like 16 to 17. You can take economics, but you just, you don't choose it because like you choose subjects that you've already studied so that you could then get a better grade and go on and on. But yeah, I think that's such a shame that we're not taught financial literacy in school, and I have a whole theory as to why that is. We don't need to get into that. If you have any theories, you're welcome to tell me. But how do your friends then deal with all of this, right? So you're obviously talking to them about Bitcoin, talking to them about Litecoin. Can they relate to you, or do they think that you're absolutely nuts?
Well, at the beginning, I was absolutely nuts. Just,
Right.
Walking around school and being the one that talked about like this internet stuff. Like, people didn't think people thought I was out there, to say the least. But now a lot of people are actually coming back around and sending me DMs like, oh, I'm on OpenSea. I have $500 in ETH. What do I do with it? Or I have $500. I want to sign up for Coinbase. What should I buy? Things like that. So, people are starting to get into it. They're questioning it more than they used to. At first, it was just kind of something that they rubbed off and it was just like, whatever. But now it's catching a lot of traction, a lot of mainstream media attention, a lot of big events happening, especially, my friends being in New York, they're seeing things like NFT NYC, 6,000 plus people. So the curiosity is definitely sparking.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. And I think what kind of is an interesting way to look at it as well is the older generation, right? So at school, your friends are sort of getting it now, but what do your teachers think? Because I remember you saying that you actually did a class or something, like you sort of run a class about it. How did that go? I can't believe they even let you do that.
I know. So, it was really a kind of a mixed reaction in my high school, which was so funny. I had teachers coming up to me telling me I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. Yes, they said I shouldn't be involved in this. Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. Recently, I had a teacher tell me they're still worried about the game I'm in, which is crypto. But
wait. Pause on that. The teacher said what? They called it a game? Like,
yeah, they said they were worried about the game, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Don't worry. I literally just said it's okay, like it's fine. So I just kept on with the conversation and said goodbye. But it's a nice teacher. They just don't understand yet. But there are other teachers that do. So this was one of my teachers in school. He's younger. He's around like 27, 28, I would guess, or his 30s, young 30s. But he was just like curious because one of my friends asked me in class and was like, yo, Randy, like what's going on with Elon Musk and Bitcoin? Because that was when Elon first started tweeting about it. And I was just like, oh, Bitcoin is just peer-to-peer digital currency. It's literally online cash. And my teacher started asking me questions and it turned into like this whole crypto Q&A. And it actually happened like twice in that class. And, other teachers have asked me and others, and it just turned into a Q&A, but only a few.
That's really amazing. I love that. I can imagine doing that in school. I just couldn't. I think when I got up in school, I was probably just like ranting about, I don't know, like politics or something like that, as I tend to do now, But you have like a huge interest in NFTs. And I do see value in NFTs, but I'm not as big on it as you are. So
Yeah.
sort of just tell me more, like why are you interested in NFTs?
I think everything's going to be an NFT, or at least close to everything. You know, we're scratching the surface of what NFTs can be right now with just simple art, music. Even that's getting taken up a few notches, right? So instead of a musician just putting out their song as an NFT, they're now creating albums. And something that Justin Blau did, he's a very famous music producer making NFTs on Nifty Gateway. One of his Genesis NFTs, what he did was if you bought that NFT, you got a physical item, which was a sound wave, and then you had access to VIP, section of his concerts for life. So those are like different utilities you can offer. Also, you can think of it as proof of authenticity, like my high school diploma. That should have been an NFT. You could directly see when it was created and where the NFT has gone. You can make sure it's non-transferable or non-burnable, so that way it has to stay on the blockchain. And you can see where it came from. Like New York High School sent this image at this time to Miss Teen NFTs. And it's just a lot of things like that. Like the deed to your house can be an NFT potentially one day.
I do agree with you. I certainly think that I do think that like everything is going digital. So it sort of makes sense for physical items in the real world to have that digital authentication. I always say the same example, for example, like a Rolex watch. I understand that can actually, the same Rolex watch can actually be a different price depending on the supply chain, where it was, where it came from, whether it came from like the UAE versus the West. I know that can fluctuate in the price. And so having that history put on the blockchain, totally agree with you. But do you kind of see it as like, any particular blockchain would do better? I know that people are now starting to experiment. Well, kind of. It's very early, but they want to put NFTs on Bitcoin. Then you have like the issues with gas fees on Ethereum. Then there's Solana, which is obviously much cheaper. So, do you have a preference over which blockchains that you use?
Well, I don't really have a preference. I've been minting on Wax for a long time now, since like November last year.
I
And
don't know Wax. Wait, tell me about Wax, because I remember you mentioned it the other day.
yeah, so Wax is actually partnering with AMC. So if you were like an AMC
Okay.
stub member, like one of their VIP members, you were able to buy an early access ticket to the new Spider-Man movie and receive NFTs. So that's something that's really awesome. New ways to there's going to be like AMC loyalty programs. So that way, if you're a shareholder, I saw William Quigley on CNBC this morning. So if you're a AMC shareholder, you get an NFT that gives you like more perks at the movie theater, like discounts, advanced ticket sales, things like that. So I preferably use Wax just because it's feasible for Gen Z. Like buying a $1 NFT on Ethereum could be pretty hard because of the gas fees. There's a lot of great projects on Ethereum, but the things I can do on Wax are just a lot more. Like I could do airdrops. Like if you buy my new NFT drop that ends today, so if you buy both NFTs, just for having them in your wallet, I'll give you a free one. That's something I couldn't do if I was using Ethereum, for example. It'd just be too expensive.
That makes sense. That's really interesting. And how do your I'm always like going back to this, but like how do your friends Gen Z kind of take to this, especially in comparison to the older generation? Because sometimes people often look at, I don't really agree with this, but there's this idea that Bitcoin is the boomer coin, right? So it's the coin which made everybody who's like 30 plus, it made them super rich. And now you have this new generation that want to get into crypto, want to make money. And there's like a generation divide within crypto, right? So what do your friends in your generation tend to sort of gravitate towards more?
I mean, it's kind of equal. You find out about Bitcoin and then you question like, okay, this is digital money. How does that work? Then NFTs, like, what does this mean? What is an NFT? How does it play a role in crypto essentially? But I think a lot of my friends take to NFTs because, we understand the concept of digital property. Like if you didn't take a selfie, you weren't there. So like we understand the whole concept of I took this selfie, I was at this place at this time, here's the metadata on my picture from my phone and all that stuff. So like having that authentication as an NFT, it just goes in so seamlessly with our lives. I don't think Bitcoin is like, a boomer coin or whatever. I think we're so new. Like Bitcoin's a tween. She's only 12. Like, you know what I mean? It's so new. Like this is still new money. All of these exchanges are new. Everything happening is so new. And I think Bitcoin will always have that standard of like being the store of value, that digital gold, and things like that. And NFTs are going to play a role in like decentralizing like assets, like deeds to our houses and diplomas, things like that.
I think what's interesting about you is that you've taken a really different route, because when we met, you were saying how you may not go to university. Is that still the case?
As of right now, yeah.
Yeah, so I find that fascinating because particularly in America, especially in comparison to England, there's more of a focus on the importance of university. And if you don't go, then it's all going to come crashing down and you're going to be homeless and it's terrible. I obviously don't agree with that. And I fully support the idea that you don't want to go to university. So I'd love to understand more about why you don't want to go and what you would do instead.
Honestly, crypto was just a passion of mine, and it's something that makes me really happy. And I feel like it's something I could pursue forever. Crypto, we're so new here that, you know, we could all make a difference and we could all do something really good for the world. You know, going to college, that's something that I guess is always going to be an option. But for me right now, to have this opportunity to be a part of crypto and be in this community, I just don't think that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'm going to take it. Like, my community, they've supported me to the point where like it fuels my fire, and I always want to do this.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I don't necessarily regret going to university because it was good for the time and everything. But if I would do it again, if I was in your position, I certainly wouldn't go, especially with everything that you've built right now. So I think, yeah, I think it's going to be great. Honestly, I'm so excited for you. So
thank you.
Something which like I do find I am curious about then, because of course, like, you know, friends can understand NFTs and they can understand crypto, but like in terms of you, like, do you find it difficult because, you know, you're not doing something normal, right? Like, you and I understand, everybody watching, we're all sort of on the same wavelength, we all sort of understand, but like, it's actually not normal. Like, I know we have mass adoption, but it's not normal, especially saying that you don't want to go to university, you'd rather pursue crypto. Like, how do you find that on like a personal level, sort of navigating through everything?
It's difficult. I'm not gonna lie. You know, being into crypto is already something that's so like odd, just because like we're so deep into it. Like, once you get into crypto, you fall down this rabbit hole, and everything you look at is just not the same. Like, this could be an NFT, or I should be paying for crypto here, and, you know, just relating everything to it. It's just something that no one else I know really does. And, you know, they might like crypto, but they're not as involved. And I honestly think the train of thought is different, but like, we all still get along. We're all still hanging out, but it's hard. It's not as like, you know, easy as it used to be. Cause I'm just, again, like, a lot of the friends I know, they're all in college. They're all like, you know, going out on the weekends and, you know, doing like focusing on finals and all this stuff. And I'm just here like, you know, streaming and having a lot of fun and like innovating in crypto. So it's like so different.
I'm so excited for you. I just think that, like, yeah, forget the finals, come down to Miami, start building, start making money, start, you know, creating something for yourself. Don't have any student debt. It's just going to be really, really great, honestly. But I really actually want to get your thoughts on the metaverse, because I know you're like we said, you're big on Litecoin, you're big on NFTs. But do you have any thoughts on the metaverse? Are you excited for it at all?
I mean, the metaverse, I'm not really sure right now, like, my complete thoughts on it. This is all like real, like, new emerging technology. I think the metaverse is going to play a role in like a lot of, you know, social events. You know, like, I think Paris Hilton, if I'm not mistaken, did a performance in the metaverse, and a lot of people were able to attend. Whereas like, if that was a real life event, a lot of people couldn't attend. So I think it's definitely going to play a role in social events, probably going to help bring adoption of cryptocurrency, because again, it's a digital world. I'm not too sure. I think this is all just really, really early, but it's really going to change the way we do a lot of things as well. Like, even meetings, I think a simple meeting could be in the metaverse.
Have you seen the program Black Mirror?
Yes, I have. I watched the entire thing. It's scary. It's too
okay,
real.
Great. Okay, great. So for those that don't know, I think it's a British thing, I think, right? It's British?
I think so. I think it's like a UK show, but it's on like Netflix.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, basically Black Mirror is excellent. You have to watch it. It's basically like this dystopian future, but it's set tomorrow. So it's so relatable. And
Yeah.
they have all these different scenarios of how technology, basically, tomorrow's technology, not in like 50 years, but tomorrow's technology creates this really dystopian reality. And so every time I hear about the metaverse, it makes me think about Black Mirror, because in reality, it's really just going to be people sitting on their couches, putting something on their heads and just clocking out, right? Clocking out society. And I don't know how I feel about it. It kind of, like, I like it, and I like what you said in terms of Paris Hilton. And I also think, okay, here's another thing. I also think that a lot of people's childhood dreams are going to come true through the metaverse. So like, I've always wanted to teleport, okay, and fly, teleport and fly. I don't know what it is as a kid. Yeah, you too. Cool. So like,
Same.
I feel that I'll be able to, I feel like the metaverse is going to be like one big acid trip where like you just fly and transport. And I don't know, I could be talking rubbish, but that's my only excitement. Everything else I'm concerned about.
No, I totally feel that. Like, I was in VR, like I have a headset. Like I don't wear it for too long because then I get dizzy. But like I was in there for a little while and I was like in this game and I was like on a jetpack and I literally felt like I was flying. Like it was pretty insane. Like it's just like you see something and like you feel it in your gut, like type of thing. It was crazy. It was crazy.
What did you have? What headset did you have?
The Quest 2. Oculus Quest.
Okay. Oh, Oculus. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a gift. So I just like I started using it and it's crazy. It really makes you feel like you're there.
Yeah, I know. I used the Oculus headset for the first time recently because my friend works like in the metaverse. He's like part of all of that. So he gave it to me to try, and it was so cool. Like the way your hands, the way like you have hands and like you got to click buttons and oh my God.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
I attend VR meetups all the time. Like my friend Jerome and I, Blockchain Universe, he always hosts events and there's always like meetups for like different people.
Well, you put the Oculus, put the Oculus headset on and you meet.
Yeah, it's called Altspace VR is the app. And basically like there's meetups all the time. And like you could just go in there, hang out with people, like you create your avatar and whatever. You have your hand. And like I've been to like talk shows where they have like the people at the like it's like as if you're looking at the TV but like they're actually with you. Like there's the panel with the people, they're all talking, and then there's the audience that could give reactions like hearts and whatever, and like you could sit in the chair next to your friend and like be like, yo, like this is crazy.
Oh my God, it's gonna be so strange. I feel like I need to get a headset. I'm gonna get a headset, but I'm also just like I'm being such a boomer about it. Like I'm so old-fashioned. Like I'm crazy old-fashioned. So like, oh my God, I'm being such a boomer about it. But how long until you think this is all gonna happen? Like meetings in the metaverse, and how long? Like, what are your thoughts? Do you have a timeline on this?
I think it's already happening, which is like the scariest part. Like it's already happening. There's already meetups all the time in virtual reality. This is something that has been going on for a long time now. So I think it's not too far away. I think like, we've already been on Zoom. A lot of people are working from home now. So, to like go the extra step, I feel like Zoom is one step. And then the next step is like VR. Like, even if you don't have a headset, like Altspace, the app I use, you could go on your laptop and like, walk around. You just won't have hands.
Oh, I see. Oh, wait, so explain. So you can actually do that just on your laptop, Altspace.
Yeah, you could just like walk around. Like it's obviously just like not 3D and you don't have your hands, but like you could walk around and like still react with like hearts emojis. You could speak to people. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, this might be like an age gap between us, but did you ever use Club Penguin when you were younger? Probably not. Did you use it?
I wanted to use Club Penguin, but like I literally never got around to it. I know my cousins, like they're like 4 years older than me. They were so deep in the Club Penguin. Oh my God.
This is what it reminds me of. Like this whole thing. I don't know if any of you guys watching ever played Club Penguin, but like this is literally what it reminds me of. Like I never played on the PlayStation or like Xbox or any of that. That was like, for me, it's like a very like masculine thing. Like my brothers did that. But I spent so much time in Club Penguin. Then like I had a pet and I bought stuff for my pet, and I had like a little igloo house and like oh my God. and I used to like earn money and things like that. And so I don't know. I do really believe that it's gonna be a legitimate thing, but it does concern me how far it goes, because I think humans have a really terrible tendency to take things too far. We've seen that now anyway, with everything that's going on in the world right now. So I don't know. I mean, another option as well is the idea that it's going to be not just entirely in the metaverse, but it's going to be a kind of seamless integration between the real world and the metaverse. So it'll be like augmented reality as well. And so we won't necessarily completely tap out of this world. It would be sort of together side by side. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%. There are apps out now that you could actually like attach your like MetaMask over to and buy a plot of land that could represent like Times Square, for example, and put your NFTs or just an image there. So if anyone else has that app, they could walk over to your plot and put their camera up and see your NFTs and see that you own that plot of land. Like that's something that's already here.
Yeah, gosh, that's so crazy. I wonder do you know what I'm actually afraid of in some ways? I'm afraid of getting older and becoming that person that like doesn't understand the new technology. Because like what you just said, no, like what you just said goes right over my head. So like when you come back to Miami, you'll have to show me. I'm afraid of becoming that person. That just
no.
It's hard. It's hard to keep up. It's hard to, it's really hard to keep up with like all the different things that's happening, different apps, different technology. I think it's difficult to stay on top of all of it.
I mean, I don't know. For me, it's like not like difficult just because like I'm just scrolling through Twitter all the time. I'm like so immersed in this stuff that I don't even realize it. It's like when I talk, I'm like, oh, I knew that. Like it's so weird. It's crazy. But like I think it's funny how you're talking about like how you're being such a boomer about it, but like you're like leading people into digital money, and people I know still don't even have debit cards. There's still people that are literally writing checks to pay things still.
That's what I was going to ask you. So have you ever opened up a bank account then? Or just no?
No, I have. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Like, okay. I don't really use it anymore, but like I was getting paid in fiat for a little bit, and had to, use a bank account for that. And when I was little, like I had a savings account. Like that was before my family and I really found out about cryptocurrency and its wonders. And I used to have savings. Now I have Bitcoin. So it's like I saw like my money was only staying that amount, like that, like $200 or whatever was staying $200, and I couldn't do as much with that $200. So then I was like, oh, Bitcoin, that makes sense.
And how did your dad get into crypto? I've never asked you that.
He was actually, like scrolling on Facebook one day and found Bitcoin Ben's live stream. I don't know if you know who Bitcoin Ben is. He used to be a truck driver. So my dad caught him like early on when he was in his truck every morning, and he was talking about like this Bitcoin and this Litecoin. So my dad thought it was an actual physical coin and started Googling it. And then he was like, oh, okay, so this is like digital money. And he started getting into it, made friends. And then he was talking to me about it. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Fast forward 5-6 years, here I am. So
I think it's amazing. No, I think it's so exciting. And then obviously there's the whole news with Facebook and with their metaverse, which is obviously going to be quite centralized, versus I think like the Winklevoss have just raised, I don't know, I'm pulling this number out there now. I think it was like $400 million, I think, don't quote me, on building a decentralized metaverse. So would you ever be interested in using like a meta type metaverse, which is more centralized?
I mean, the Oculus is made by Facebook. So, I mean, like that's who is like, I think the leading VR people. Like, I haven't heard of another VR company. I mean, I haven't looked into it that much that sells headsets, but Oculus is definitely the top right now, and that's made by Facebook. But I do think that there's going to be decentralized versions. And, I think, some people are going to want to use the centralized ones, and that's like cool. But again, it's like all freedom of choice, and like I'm probably gonna dip into each one and like see what's up. But I obviously prefer like if there's like a decentralized thing, I could probably have more utility on there. Then that would be really cool.
I think you and I obviously were having this conversation, and we obviously agree that all of this is inevitably the future. So do you ever meet people who are much older, and like how do you start convincing them? Just as an example, like I didn't break my knee, but I basically injured my knee earlier this year. And so the guy that was like fixing my knee, I got into a whole debate with him about like Bitcoin versus gold. And like I was going through it. Like I was at the hospital going through it with him. Like, no, it was Bitcoin's like this and gold is like that. And everything that he said, I was like coming back like fire. It was good fun. So like, have you ever been in that kind of situation? And what is your sort of go-to argument, which really just explains why this is the future?
Well, it depends on who I'm talking to, really. But like, if they're going like, if they're just saying like, oh, I don't understand digital money, I'm gonna be like, well, do you use your debit card? Do you transact over the internet as it is? And they're like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, you're doing that already. Now here's Bitcoin, and this is why Bitcoin's important. And I go into like store of value almost. It's peer to peer, no intermediate, like no third parties. It's borderless. Anyone with an internet connection could transact, and they're like, oh, okay. Of course, like, there are people that value like that just don't want to invest in crypto. They don't believe in it. They believe in like, their national currency. And like, that's cool. That's fine. I could just say like, would you rather have your dollar from like 11 years ago when Bitcoin was like 6 cents? Or would you rather have the Bitcoin from then, the $1 from then, or the $1 from now?
Yeah, it's a really good point. And I think, I think like, inflation and showing them, how the purchasing power of these fiat currencies are just crashing is a really good way to go about it. I think, it's interesting when you talk about it as like have your national currency. I won't make you comment on this, don't worry. You're welcome to if you want to. But like it's interesting because I think from my perspective, everything that's going on in the world right now, we tend to see a lot of nations really just like screwing over their citizens. And that's what, if, for example, like the medical mandates come in England, I, for one, will feel like my country has just screwed me. Right? Like my country just discriminating against me and hates me. And so as a result, like I don't want to hold their money. Like it's even that, I don't feel patriotic to a certain currency. I don't feel any love for a certain country. I don't feel that patriotism. Of course, if you look at the purchasing power of the pound, it's been crashing. Inflation is up 4.2%. From what they've said. So there's many different things which makes me, obviously not want to use it. But then on top of that, just using the term like national currency, it has such like patriotic kind of tendencies involved in that. And I, for one, at this point, am just like, I'm no longer a patriot, unfortunately, given everything that's going on right now in the world. So what I love about crypto is how it is apolitical, like it is apolitical. And I think that Bitcoin tends to, be borderless. Doesn't belong to a country. There is no politics involved. And I really enjoy that. And I know El Salvador are doing a lot when it comes to that. Have you ever been to El Salvador? Do you have any interest in checking out the Bitcoin city?
Oh, I definitely want to check it out for sure. There's like, I saw like a lot of pretty parts, like a lot of like, I saw like pictures of like very nice beaches. And I was like, wow, like, like it's definitely a place I want to visit one day. I know there's a lot of Bitcoin adoption. So it would just like be cool to like walk into somewhere like, and just know that like, I'm going to scan a QR code and like pay with Bitcoin. Like, that's just so exciting to me. And like, I just like, transacting with crypto. It just like feels extra zesty. It feels fun. And like, it feels right. It feels right in my heart.
Yeah. So when are you going?
Hopefully in the future. I have no clue. Hopefully, hopefully we all moon and I could go to El Salvador. Make a trip there.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think it's interesting how much hostility El Salvador has had when it comes to from the US, from the IMF. And did you see the tweet? He did so many. The president, he was sort of saying, somebody asked like, does he trade for the country from his laptop? And he said his phone. Did you see that?
No, he didn't, but that's really funny.
Yeah, he was like, no, I trade from my phone. And I don't know. I think it's really interesting. I think it's really refreshing to have like somebody youthful running a country who really shares the same mindset as a lot of us, even when it comes to like taxes and things like that. Bitcoin City, zero tax, zero capital gain, zero
Oh,
income,
really?
zero inheritance. Yeah, just zero, 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 zero.
That's crazy. I heard about that. You know, it's really interesting, and I love seeing like pictures of people like accepting it, transacting with it. I'm really impressed. Like it all happened really fast, and you know it's happening. I think it's going pretty smooth. I haven't heard anything like people like didn't want to use it. I think it's so easy.
Who do you think will be next?
Oh, I don't know. That's so hard to tell. I just think like it's all gonna like I feel like it's all gonna be like one big wave. I don't know when. I
Okay.
feel it coming. I feel like there's definitely gonna be more announcements, like more countries using it as legal tender, but I feel like it's just all inevitable. You know, like businesses are gonna start accepting it, and you know, it's just gonna be too hard to stop. So, you know, you might as well make it legal tender when it gets to that point.
It's true. I've been talking about this actually a lot recently about levels of regulation and levels of to what extent really can Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies be banned. And I think what's interesting is if governments try to ban it when it first came out, when it was first launched, they'd have a great job of doing it, right? Like I really think they would. You know, it wasn't that decentralized at the time, given there weren't that many miners on the network naturally.
Yeah.
And so it'd be easier to shut down. However, now I think it's going to be harder. But I also think we're still at a point, and I was tweeting about this earlier, that I think that like the establishment is still so arrogant. Like I don't think they realize the extent to which Bitcoin can literally dismantle it all. And I think that's so arrogant towards it, you know? So I don't think they realize. And when they realize, I think it will be too late. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Like it would have grown and the network effect would be too strong.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I think that, you know, this is just all inevitable. And I think that a lot of people, you know, especially the higher ups, I think they definitely know about Bitcoin, but I think they're just figuring out like, you know, how can we use this since it's here?
Totally. So on a personal level then, what are your final goals? You know, I know you obviously, we spoke about earlier, you don't want to go to university, you're going to just like grow crypto. Like, what does that mean? You know, what are your personal goals?
My personal goals is to keep educating people, whether that be on, you know, a TV level. I was just on Fox Business on Thursday with Charles Payne. You've been on with him as well. Oh my gosh, twinsies. But yeah, like that was really cool. So whether that be on a TV level, doing workshops, creating content, whatever it is, I'm going to keep educating people and keep going on this path on spreading crypto adoption to Gen Z, educating the masses, and, you know, helping us all be our own banks and our own store, because this space is just too good, and to not share all this information. It's like holding all this good information to yourself. It's not doing any good. Might as well share the knowledge.
I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. I think it's super exciting. So where can people find you? How can they follow you?
Everyone, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere, Clubhouse, all at Miss Teen Crypto. Visit my YouTube channel, Miss Teen Crypto. Like, subscribe. Layah was actually on my show a few weeks back, so you can find that episode and rewatch it. All these links are on missteencrypto.com. You can check out my NFTs from there as well, and my about if you want to check out that clip from Fox Business.
That's amazing. Guys, go follow Miss Teen Crypto. She's out there educating people all the time, which is so incredible. We totally need it in this space. I want to thank you so much for coming on. It's always good to speak to you. Please come back to Miami so we can hang out. And yeah, guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.